Yeah, we are live now, sir. Welcome back. Presenter is Mr. Ashok Chakravarti, a representative from KASIA, Karnataka Small Scale Industries
Hi.
Association. Mr. Ashok is known in the industry for his unique problem-solving innovations. His experience of running Palyam textiles processes for 40 years has got him immeasurable experience as a technology entrepreneur in the textile industry. Today, Mr. Ashok will be presenting on silk sustainability, recycling, upcycling, and
Hello. Hello. Can you hear? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You
Good
can.
afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody is fine. Today, I'm bringing this silk as a novel product. Everybody knows as a silk, but how novel is very few people may be knowing. I want to call this silk as Queen of Textiles, and I don't require to say that this is sustainable silk because this has been sustained past 5,000 years. So one word of 5,000 years is great enough to follow it up and to go through it. So I don't want to talk more about the sustainable of silk because it has been sustained. Now what is required is what we can do with the silk. Major, if you want to see this, silk is when we I have been gone through the lot of the PPTs I have seen in the morning. Somebody has to manufacture the silk, I mean fibers. Here the silk, some worms will come and they will manufacture. So there itself, the sustainability and energy saving, water saving, everything is coming up there. This itself says it's more sustainable. Now coming back to how we can use it and what the opportunities what we have got it. Now the silk has been in touch with us since many years and it has been preserved and it has been used for the fashion and for many more products. Now, the Indian silk industry, what we have the opportunity of having grown four qualities of silk, which is nowhere in the world. China can produce only two qualities, that is mulberry and tussar. But India can produce mulberry, tussar, muga, and eri. So this is the opportunity where we can encash muga and eri. And if you see the production on the whole of the world, China takes 68,000 metric tons, and India is around 35 to 36,000 metric tons. Now the rest of around 4,000 metric tons, that is very negligible. That is rest of the world what manufacture. Now what I find is when the China is doing 68,000 and India is 35,000, we have got an opportunity to reach 68,000 or more than that. We can win over. And even now, our plan for the Indian Silk Board, what they have planned and everything they projected is we can reach up to 65,000. By 2030, we will win over China. So now we got an opportunity to get into have the more business opportunities. In the whole world, only two countries are doing. We have got very good opportunity and the uh, platform to win over. Now this is recycle or reuse or whatever you call it. Once the silk is made, it will be nurtured, it will be taken care, and it will be retained forever. This is what everybody wants to see. When the moment the silk, if you say, means we'll have the good memories behind this. Now, out of that, Tussar, Muga, and Eri, mulberry is generally we use. For the Eri, this is a special fiber where it can be used for uh, children garments or baby garments or for medical purposes. This is available only in India. And the Muga silk, this is on call it. This is no process is required. Just one wash is enough. Muga silk. This will be called as golden silk also. So with these opportunities, once the silk, from the silk anything is made, we wanted to retype, recycle. So here, anybody who invests on silk, they don't want to lose it so easily. They try to make themselves, the skill will develop for themselves to retain, to sustain, and to reuse and to upgrade or downgrade or whatever they want to do, they play with it. So here sustainability is very simple and easily by virtue it can happen. Now coming to what is silk again? Silk has the versatility. We can call it this as an agriculture, sericulture, vermiculture, and also this is the byproduct. Some of them we can use it. I mean that worms that can be used for the poultry industry also. So this is so versatile, and none of the products will be go as a waste. While processing itself, we have lot of byproduct that come that will byproduct itself convert into some products which is of useful and high value. And here this silk, what happens? This is a continuous long process, and which we have been wind over, and this is women are very much involved in this, and they need not require to be continuously present. So from the home itself, they can rearing of the silk can be done, and it's easy to work with them. In the intermittent times also they can work. So that is woman friendly and easy working. Also, it is very easy, and the investment is also not much. For that, government support is also very high. Now coming to the employment, the sericulture gives around 53% of the total involvement in the sericulture. 53% the women are involved, total overall, and it takes around uh, for each kg 11 man days are required, so that they are occupied and it's continuous. And here to keep us busy, India is already has got a nearly around 2 lakh handlooms and around 50,000 power looms. All these looms are just for silk, dedicated to silk. So you can imagine we have so many outlets to work with, and this is all high priced and high skilled, and each man and the whole family involves in the when the silk they manufacture it. See all the women entrepreneurs, how the lot of women entrepreneurs are there, but they are into small level, but they are not exposed. But lot of skill is required, and which they already done it, and they are showing this. And we have the opportunity, the in whole of India, this is spread over throughout India. In each state, they have got their own tradition of accepting silk, manufacturing, designs, colors, and the way of sales selling also. So here what we see, for example, we have the Mysore silk, Kanchi silk, Dharmavaram, Pochampalli, Kumbakonam, Solavkuchi. So it is like this. It is spread over throughout India. So there is no shortage of skilled labor actually. The only thing is nurturing is required, and how this can be upscaled or downscaled. We are not giving much time to upscale it or downscale it. People like to or buy only the new things. So that new things now the affordability is a question. For this purpose, upscale, recycle, all these are required now. For that, we have to work on in a different manner, which is not much exposed to Indian society. Though it is there in the olden days, it was there. My great grandmother's sari, it will go to the next mother, next daughter, then granddaughter. So the recycle is happening there itself from grandmother to mother. The saris should be retained. Now From there it is become a lehenga, or from the lehenga it will become uh, some scarf or some bag or something. So it has been uh, taken stage by stage without our notice, and it has been done. So recycle, upcycle without our notice is happening. So this is the beauty of the silk here. Since it is a labor intensive and it's a traditional base, and these products will never go. And since people are handling silk, the basic silk, it's because of high price. They don't want to waste a single gram of silk. These silks, while manufacturing itself, automatically the whole family will get into the skill without their knowledge, and they retain it, and the whatever the waste that produce. If you think of from the loom stage, whatever the waste that comes out from there, also some new byproducts they are going to do it, which into I'll show the pictures later on. So like that, we have the continuity of usage of the fiber. And while manufacturing also, we don't have the wastage of the higher values. And here, from each level, uh, the energy requirement is very low. The water requirement to process the silk is very low. And even if they use it, that will be reused. So, suppose if they are using for the degumming in the silk, after degumming, this sericin content, whatever is there, with the same bath, it will be dyed so that that sericin works as a lubricant. Like that, each and every place that byproduct, what it comes, it will be utilized to the fullest extent. And since most of them are in handloom, and the power consumption is very less. And the share of employment in this textile sector is 20% of the total textile. And here the agriculture itself, we are giving an opportunity for 1.2 million families and 9.2 million people. Now the sustainability again practices silk industry. It is again, I told you, as a water, it's non-hazardous, no pesticides, no fertilizers, and it's eco-friendly. To give a small example, from the cocoon, if a small worm comes out with hardly around 2 mm, it starts working on feeding the mulberry leaves. The 2 mm worms, it starts when eating. If it is survival, if the without pesticides or without manure, if everything is okay, then it starts eating. In the test results, right from the worm stage, when it hatches and start eating, there itself the lab testing is happens. If everything is good, the worms grow further. So people who are rearing, they will understand whether the raw material is good or what, means that mulberry leaves are good or what. So the testing starts from the right in the beginning itself. So here, the as the this worm grows, what happens when it comes a bigger size, then its health is good or not, whether it dies or whether it grows, whether it gives a good yield or not. This will be observed by the rearers. A continuous care is required and it will be taken care. If the temperature is also good or not, it will not. If it is bad, it will not sustain at all. So means it is very simple, very clear that wherever the silk rearing is there, silk is manufactured, or the continuous process is there, the climatic condition is good and the surrounding is eco-friendly. This is what I mean to say, that there's a pollution is zero, because the worm is going to manufacture the silk yarn. So where is the machines? There are no machines are required. Now, since from the morning, what I've been seeing, we are talking about the machines, the power and the solar power and water, so many things. But here, A worm is coming and making an silk fiber, beautiful silk fiber. Now the only the nurture and the next level we have to take it. That's why I call this as a queen of textile fiber itself. The waste is almost zero here. And the thing is, right from the beginning to the end, this silk is biodegradable, 100% biodegradable. If you take the silk yarn at the end and you get it tested, you will not find any problem at all. Means you will not have any what do you call mm, waste. I mean eco-friendly for testing. If no pesticide, nothing is visible in it. Almost 0.00 like that it will be there. So this is very nice. The pesticides is almost zero here. Now the social sustainability. When it comes to the social sustainability, as I said, is a agriculture, vermiculture, sericulture, everything is people who are rearing it. Then comes to the industry, it is converted to the a small industry for the conversion something. Then it finally it leads to the consumer. The consumer is the luxury, or who are the consumer, they pay high price for it. The more they pay a high price means where this money goes, it's rich poor. So the sustainability from
Uh,
farmer to the wearer, it is distributed slightly, so that it is
Last. So can you hear us? Hello.
afford more price for it, and the margins are good, and the turnover time is also very short.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Your PPT is not visible, sir. Can you share your screen again?
This time it was not visible.
No, sir, it's not visible.
No.
Try sharing your screen again, sir. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, now it's visible. Fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. But at least you told me. Okay. Fine. See, from the that the social accountability is all by virtue. This is happening. The social accountability and sharing of the profits, low investment, all these things people are observing, and they are made it to sustain. So that without any much effort, our people for past 5,000 years, and they are bringing back, and nobody has put a hand on this. That's why it has been done it. Now, what I want to say is, when the China may tomorrow it may retain the silk or not, we don't know. The way the speed they are looking at it may be a different. Future China may be a different. But we have got an opportunity to utilize this and to cater to the world. See, when the in the whole of world only two countries are there, why can't we use this? We can cater at a low price. This government support will be there, and the public support is there. But only problem what I'm finding is all in handloom and smaller sectors. We have to build a cluster, or from the it has to convert it to a small industry. From there it has to go to the associations, industrial association. From industrial associations we have to put it to the government, and what we require, how we have to process further. This is what I feel. This is to be done. And here, when we come to the next level of this, is a very complex. If you see this, a lot of things has to be done. But from each process, we are finding different qualities, different properties of the silk to produce the yarns. And from each waste, the degumming. Now, when you come to the degumming and other things, each product is used for the better value addition product. Suppose if you go for, I'll go back. Uh, we have, as I told you, for the eri silk. Eri silk is used for uh, the cosmetics. L'Oreal and all, they are using silk powder. They are mixing with the sandal powder and they are using for the cosmetics. There are a lot of things is happening which is not exposed to the world. Now, the lot of artists, scientists, they are venturing into this to make it is as a good business and viable business. And because of this uh, zero wastage and 100% biodegradable and less pollution. So people are getting into this. Only thing is it has to be organized and to be represented. That's what I feel. And now I'll just want to show you some slides where the recycle, upcycle, and downcycle and how this has been utilized. As a tradition, we have been using it, we have been doing this, but I just want to show you some of the pictures which can easily common people can understand. Since we are major into the saris, I just taken to the saris one. From the saris, how we can further move it. See the recycling of the silk saris. I am just focusing on silk saris just because of lot of saris are available and lot of saris are there in the cupboards in many houses which is not opened at all. Now this is the time where we can pull out these saris which is of high value, which has got the connectivity with our good memories, and it will bring the connectivity with the special occasions. These now we have to bring it back and we have to upcycle it for the garmenting industry or a tapestry or window curtains. So many things it can be done. See the child which is there, and if that the child is there on the sari, this one, the memories goes back to 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. They will come back with a connectivity with a grandmother, mother, and this cycle will be there continuity. These are the special some connectivity what we get it from the silks. These are happening, see from the saris, what are the products without using much energy. Now the lot of products is happening. Now the thing is, now the young uh, engineers are there, artists are there, and the designers are there. Now this is the time for these people who can design the products from the already available silk. And now, as the Madra codes they mentioned, the silk swing thread, how it can be removed. That's a novel product without much disturbing the silks, and it can be removed and it can be redesigned. This can be done. Meanwhile, if the silk saris are old or silk garments or fabrics are old, see now this is the silk bedspreads are there. From the bedspreads, what all can be done? Now from the hotel in there, people are getting from hotel industry, from the old saris and from the scarves or whatever is available from everywhere the new products are coming it up. It's all mix and match. It's all in the designers people. Suppose if the saris are worn out, then this can be made into two ply with an embroidery. We can make it and give a strength for it, and it can be given a hygiene wash, and that can be used into the garments. So these are the things what youngsters has to come now. With this forum, I think we can do wonderful things. Say this. All these all reprocessed yarn. I mean reprocessed. I mean refurbished fabrics. Now, even now from the, see, I'll show you this one. See, this all, even if it is 20 years, 30 years, 50 years old silk sarees or silk material, see, it looks lavish and so gorgeous it looks. See, even the borders, it brings back the memories. In the grandma's house or in the hotels, we can bring the, it can be framed well and it brings back the memories again. See, these are some of the things from the waste it has been done. These are all the recycled products. See, these are the novel products there from the loom waste, from the high-end looms. When the fabric is manufactured, we'll have the selvage cut. From the selvage cut, these fibers has been taken out, re-bleached, reprocessed, and it has been dyed. Some of them without dyeing also. It has been used as a melange. If the even the, by retaining the color, they are doing it again yarn, and it has been utilized. These are beautiful colors, all handmade. These all lot of materials are exporting as an what you call uh, old by hand processed, hand finished one. There's a lot of value they are exporting, but it's not much exposed. People are fear in processing. While processing, they have to get it from clearance from the pollution control board. All these problems are there. So because of this, this is going in a handloom with a small items, but in a good high valued items. There is a good margin they can think over. Is what is happening. Even the powder, silk powder that comes out as a final waste, from the powder, they are laminating for the book covers and so many other things. For the bags, so many things this can. So here it is in silk, it's a zero waste, absolutely zero waste. See, even from, see these pouches, how nice it is. Even the available saris, they can design themselves for their matching. Nothing goes as a waste. This is from the West Silk only. This is braiding they have done it. See, these are the caps they have done it. How beautiful it is. So only washing is required here. All from the waste it has been converted. These are export for the Japan. See, even the this is the one which is by knitting also. They have converted the knittable yarn also. But this all by hand. So the employment, environment, margin, availability, recycling, I think is enough to look into the products, is what I want to say. Now the only thing is what is required is youngsters has to come out, they have to plan it so that they survive. Other thing is now the waste, how to collect the waste is a big question. People are not ready to give back the same what they have because of the connectivity, the memories what they have. For this, we have to make some what you call some societies or something who can authorize and who can give the right price. Even if you say, even the I think people have seen it. The old sarees which has been the gold and silver zari borders, they have taken the local rackpickers, local sarees, old sarees they collected, and they burn it and they remove gold and silk out of it. So which is around 30, 50 years, 60 years, 80 years sarees, even now it's worth 10, 50 times. Though the life of the silk has gone, but it is giving the value addition just like that's why we call silk as a silk gold also. This was I wanted to say. So,
So we have a question from Mr. Pratap. He has
huh?
mentioned like from Mr.
Yeah,
Pratap, we have a question here. Like,
yeah.
how is silk eco-friendly if killing worms is a part of the process, or is there an alternative when silk can be procured by omitting this step?
Absolutely, he's right. Absolutely right. See, for the sustainability, this has been done brought from 5,000 years. There are people, yes, this is now for this, if they say further, for him also, eco-friendly silk is available, that is called Eri silk. That is called also Ahimsa silk. So, if you are very particular about eco-friendly, you have to go for a Eri silk. Eri silk is a wild silk, we call it. So, Eri silk, It is just it grows and it gets nurtured on the tree itself. This is at the backyard also they can grow this. The aerosol when it uh, get that silk cocoon will get opens up when it matures and it opens up to the flower. So before that, it will get caught and they eat it also. This is just like the people are living in non-veg and other things. These people who are in uh, forest and all, they're using this and this as a regular food for them. Morning, this is a nutritious food for them. And the moment it opens, the cocoon opens, the fiber will open. It cannot be reeled. It can be spun only. So the people who are say yes, they want to do only this ahimsa, they can go for aerosol. Are you
Uh,
confused?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. We'll just end the session. Delegates, Mr. Ashok will be available for another session. It's a panel discussion. So, any questions you have, you can just ask at that point of time. Since we are running out of time, really, a sincere apologies for it. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashok.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.